Well, good afternoon, and it is indeed Expat Radio you're listening to, not whatever it was that came on before the introduction there. I'm not sure what that was. I think Dave hasn't been feeling very great this week, so I think that one just slipped in. I'm coming live from the Costa del Sol. I have to say, a very strange weathered Costa del Sol or today at least, and most of this week. Last Sunday, we were basking in 33 degrees. And Dave said he pushed the wrong button. We were basking in 33 degrees, and today it's about 14 with a very cold wind. The sun's trying to come out, but I don't think the temperatures are going to get up very high today. I'm delighted to welcome my guest for today, Nikki Wegloop. Nikki,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did I get it right? Your surname?
Perfect.
It's not a Scottish surname, this, is it, Nikki?
No, it's a Dutch one, yeah, and we've got a difficult language, don't we?
You do. I have lots of Dutch friends, and I know all their first names, but I struggle with some of their surnames.
Understandable.
And sometimes when I do try to pronounce it, they just giggle at me and go, "Oh, Bill, that's so funny." Nikki, welcome to the show today. We're going to talk a little bit about yourself first, and then we're going to talk about, well, the reason you're on the show, really. And I'm going to just throw this in, Mi Moana. It's Hawaiian, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's we want a sort of a universal word, so not too Spanish, not too English, just good
Yeah,
for everyone. So I went with Hawaiian.
yeah. So if people want to know what Mi Moana is, they're going to have to listen, aren't they?
Exactly.
So, Nikki, your background is Dutch. How long have you lived here on the Costa del Sol?
Well, I moved here when I was 5.
Right,
Officially, we were going up and down from Holland to Spain, and then we decided to actually move here. So it's been nearly 14 years now, so it's been quite a while.
right. And you've done all of your schooling here on the Costa as well, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. From primary and before that up to now.
Right, okay. Did you go to a Spanish school, an international school?
It was a Spanish school. Of course, we did have English and French,
Right,
but it was completely Spanish.
right, okay. So how was that experience for you? Or is that a silly question? Because asking you about school is not usually a very great experience, is it?
No, that's okay. No, it was quite okay. I changed schools in the second year, which means when I was 14, I changed to a private school.
Right.
And just because that level was so much higher and that education was just much, much better than the actual public school I was on.
Yeah. Do you want to give
Um,
your old high school a plug?
well, I don't know if they'll be happy to hear from me, but yeah, I used to be in La Cala,
Yeah.
in Torre Almenara, and then I changed to Colegio Alborán, which is in Marbella.
Yeah. I know Albaran very well.
Really?
Yeah, because I spent about 13 summers working there with a company from Madrid doing summer camps and
Wow.
teaching English. And
No
I
way.
know Pedro the chef very well and Paco the gardener
Oh, I
and
miss Pedro.
and
He was so lovely.
Marta the school secretary.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I got to know them pretty well. It was only for a couple of months during the summer, but it was over a lot of years.
Oh
And
wow.
it is a great school and great facilities, great grounds, and a little farm at the back. And Paco the gardener has his little market garden, growing peanuts and all sorts of stuff. Yeah,
Exactly, and because it's such a small school, everyone knows each other, and
yeah,
that's just so nice about it. And of course, the connection with the animals that we have.
sure.
I mean, I learned there to ride horses, and it was just it's just yeah, it was a really really nice school.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have good experiences from high school because an awful lot of people say, "Oh, I couldn't wait to see the back of it." But to have nice memories and nice experiences is really a great thing to hold on to, isn't it?
It is, it really really is, and it's nice to have still a little bit of contact with my teachers, some of them, and just to catch up every once in a while. It's very nice.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a polyglot. I mean, your English is fantastic. And
Thank you.
and I guess your Dutch is pretty good as well, yeah?
Yeah, it's okay. I still speak Dutch with my parents and some older friends, so I still get to practice
You
it a
get
little
to
bit.
practice it, yeah. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of languages down here, but not many people learn Dutch unless they've got a real reason to do it, do they?
I mean, it's obvious. Holland is this small, so you don't really need the language at this point.
Sure, sure. And of course, you're bound to be like a native Spanish speaker as well. All these years
Well,
in Spanish schools, yeah.
I try. I try. I think it's quite okay.
I guess it is. It's probably better than mine, Nikki. So, Nikki, hobbies. Do you just have one hobby these days, or do you have lots of hobbies?
Well, I do love horse riding, but
Right, okay.
my main passion at the moment is scuba diving.
Is scuba diving, yeah, and we're heading down the Mi Moana route very slowly here. How did you get into scuba diving? Tell us.
Um, so my dad gave it as a gift to mum and me to do the open water course, which is the very first course.
Right,
And this was back in 2015, 16,
right,
end of 2015, I think. And so we did it together, the very first course. And then I got well, I got lucky and I met Nick from the diving school, Diving with Nick.
yeah.
And we got a nice friendship going on. And he said, you know what, would you like to work with us? And I said, okay. And he got me through all the courses while I was working for him.
Right, so it didn't take much thinking about then, Nikki, no?
No, no, not really. He's such a lovely guy, and if you get an opportunity like this to work with him and to actually learn more about scuba diving, which
Yeah.
it was always such a passion for me, then it's so nice to be able to practice that.
Yeah, we had Nick on the show a few months back, and we had a great show with him. He's quite a
Yeah,
character, isn't he?
yeah, but he's nice. He's very funny. He's a lovely boss as well.
Yeah.
He's a bit crazy sometimes, but I've learned to deal with him.
Yeah, well, I actually caught um, Nick and Ellie on their way back from the Ukraine,
Right.
where they drove from here, the south coast of Spain, up to Ukraine with a van full of, well,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, food, clothes, medical supplies. And I missed him in the Ukraine, but I think it really was literally a up there, drop the stuff off, and drive back, about 40 hours drive. And I caught him and Ellie in Prague on the way back, and I said, "How are you?" Oh, yeah, I'm fine. How are you really? I'm knackered.
Yeah,
Because
it was a struggle for him. I remember that. But no, he's very nice. He's a lovely guy to work with.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so you got your first sort of introduction to diving through your dad's present to you and your mum.
Yep,
Um and then you got this kind of, well, it's like an opportunity you can't turn down, is it?
exactly.
Would you like to work with me? I mean,
Exactly, and it was so out of the blue because it was right after cleanup that I did with him,
yeah.
and we already knew each other because of the cleanups. And then he was like, "I need someone in the office. Would you like a job?" And it was just out of the blue on a Saturday, drinking something. Would you like a job? Okay, I mean, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you said that Nick put you through all of your qualifications for diving. What qualifications have you got now in diving?
So I'm at the dive master level. So I got my advanced, which is the second one, rescue, which is the third, and my dive master with Nick. And dive master basically includes that I can take anyone diving that already has a certification, being open water or anything higher.
Right. Okay. So that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool. I can take people diving and actually show them the little nice spots that we have, and I can do little refreshers, which is for someone that hasn't been diving in a while to just re-practice skills with them. So it's such a nice thing to do. I don't have to worry too much about actually teaching them. I just have to take them diving, which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nick has been pestering me.
Oh, geez. He wants you to come diving, doesn't
He
he?
wants me to come diving with him. I'm not a big fan of. I love looking at the sea. I love looking at it. But I think that there's something in a past life or something that I'm a bit nervous about going underneath it, you know?
It's understandable. So many people are a little bit nervous about, breathing underwater and taking that whole equipment and going somewhere where we know so little about. It's scary, but it's as soon as you get into it, you'll love it.
Yeah, yeah. What are the water temperatures like down here?
It really depends. So we went diving about a week ago, and it was 16 degrees.
Is that good?
It's chilly.
It's chilly. I was going to say it sounds chilly, but I thought you were going to say, no, no, that's not bad at all.
It's chilly. Of course, it really depends on the suit that you have, because obviously you have three different types of suits. You've got the wetsuit, semi-dry, and a dry suit. If you're wearing a dry suit, or in my case, a semi-dry suit, then it was lovely. But for those with a wetsuit, it can be quite chilly.
Right. Okay. So if I ever give in to Nick's demands that I get my head underwater, I'm looking for a dry suit. Yeah.
Exactly. Or just go in summer.
And does the water change temperature change quite a lot between? Well, we're supposed to be in spring at the moment, but it's not feeling very spring-like around here.
It's very
Uh,
wintry.
it is, isn't it? We got this 33-degree hit last Sunday, and we thought, oh my God, the summer's arrived early. And within about 4 days, the temperatures had halved. And
Yep.
yeah. So what would you say is the difference in the water temperature between just now 16 degrees, which I guess it doesn't get that much colder than that, does it?
No, no, I think it's always a minimum of 15,
Right,
16. And then in summer, it can be about 23, 24, which is lovely.
right,
So it's not at the point where you can dive in just a bikini or swim shorts, but it's very nice in summer. So there's not such a huge difference, but
right.
it gets chilly in these months.
I'm sorry, Nikki, but 7 degrees feels like a huge difference to me. It feels like the difference between between freezing and surviving, you know.
I mean, it's not you won't freeze to
I,
death.
I don't know. Hypothermia kicks in fairly early with us Scots, you know.
Oh, my days. Complaining about everything. Just dive. Just focus on the fish. You won't even feel cold.
Okay, I will. You can tell Nick that I'm thinking about it. Okay,
Good.
right.
Good.
Okay. So you're now a dive master. You can take people out, providing they've got the qualifications. Yeah. And do a lot of people come down here, with the intention of going out diving, let's just say on holiday? Is that one of the sort of activities that they have in mind, especially if they're qualified?
Funny enough, yes. Of course, everyone that already has a qualification, you usually look for a country or a place to go to where you can dive.
Right,
Sort of like a normal thing. Because of course it's lovely to dive in other places and other countries and see what there's there. But it's funny that many tourists and locals want to learn to dive, and it's been increasing so much, the quantity of people that actually want to come and learn. I mean,
right.
we've been having courses non-stop, and even through winter and months that it's cold, we can just go into the classroom and do all the theory, and it's getting quite busy. Yeah.
Right. And Nick's Diving Centre is in a fantastic location, isn't it? I mean,
It really is.
it's right by the main road, but actually looking across the main road right out to the Mediterranean. And
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I couldn't really think of a better location for it. It's just, the sea is just there, you know.
Yep.
Uh, it,
Yeah,
it,
and it's nice
it,
that we can actually go diving there. We can
you
just dive right in
can.
front of the dive center.
Right. Okay. So tell me a little bit. Well, first of all, a question. Have you been? I know you do a lot of diving around the coasts here. Have you been elsewhere diving, Nikki?
Um, Keeping it in Spain, obviously I've been to Gibraltar, but out of Spain, I've been diving in the Red Sea,
Oh wow.
Israel. Where else have I been diving? I think in the Canary Islands.
Right.
Um, but Yeah, we always try to go somewhere where we can dive.
where you can dive. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Cuba as well.
All
Always been
right.
diving.
Okay. So Ryanair doesn't have any problems with you taking your scuba gear with you on the hand luggage,
Well,
does it?
they don't. Unfortunately, back then I didn't have my own equipment, but
Right.
we're planning a trip now, and we're gonna take our own, of course. But
Really?
it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a problem, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, with these airlines, providing you're prepared to pay for it, they'll take anything just about on board, won't they?
True, very true,
And,
very
and
true.
were your experiences of diving in these different places all very different experiences, or is under the water under the water?
Oh no, it's very, very different. Every place has its own little world underwater. You never really know what to expect. And of course, people can tell you and say, "Oh yeah, you'll see this and this," but it can change from one day to the other. Just like here in Spain, it really changes. So
Really?
it's amazing to go diving somewhere else and see what the life is there, and then it's you can't even really compare it because it's so different,
Right.
but it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's as different under the water as it is above the water. You know, if you go from here to the Red Sea area, you're going to see very different things. So under the water, it's just pretty much in the same type of thing that you're in different parts of the world, different experiences, different environment. Yeah.
Exactly. Everything it's different going from one place even from city to city, it's very different.
Yeah, I've got a message. I got a message from Dave, which I have to share with the world here. He's had some diving experiences when he was a kid. It was in the bath, and he didn't know how to use the snorkel.
Oh my days.
Yeah. Well, have you done snorkeling as well, just out of interest?
I did for a very short while, but of course, diving, I mean, it's if you can do it, then do diving. It's so much better.
Yeah, yeah. I know snorkels are supposed to have a sort of non-return valve and something, but I probably forget and try to breathe in while I'm under the water and end up choking myself.
Oh no, snorkeling is very different. There's even a whole course that you can do to snorkel with padding.
Right.
It's very it felt very limiting. So it's you have to surface in a very little bit underwater and you have to go up again. With diving, you can just stay on there for an hour. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Dave drank 2 pints of baby bath with his snorkel under the water.
Oh my days.
It doesn't surprise me.
No.
Okay, so you're dive master. You can take people out there. Now, just tell us a little bit about how you got into the idea of clearing the seabed.
Well, traveling from one place to the other, we of course we like to dive there, and the main thing that we saw everywhere was plastic and rubbish. We saw it absolutely everywhere, no matter which country we went to.
Right,
So when I started thinking and just how can we, do our little part in trying to help the planet, and that's how Mi Moana was born.
right, okay. I mean, this is maybe a question you can't answer, or maybe you can, Nikki. But how do these plastics end up in the sea? Is it just people leaving the rubbish on the beach, or is there something else happening that we're not talking about the odd bottle cap here, are we? We're talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few different ways it gets into it. So the first one is wind. It can just blow out of a rubbish a bag or from the street, and it just gets into the sea. So that's the wind. Another reason is people on the beach that leave everything behind, which
Right.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
Chiringuitos on the beach, of course, are very close to the sea.
Okay.
And if they leave something on the table or something, then it will get taken by the sea. And boats leave everything behind.
Oh, do they? Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess the rivers will probably play a part as well because a lot of the rivers here well, coming into autumn and winter are dry. And I do know from walking around the countryside that people leave an awful lot of rubbish in the countryside. And I'm sure once the rains arrive, a lot of that gets washed into the rivers and then the rivers obviously into the sea as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when we find the strangest things, I mean, from fridges to bicycles to little shopping carts. I mean, you can't even imagine what we find, and
How does a
it's crazy.
bicycle end up in the seabed?
Don't ask me. I have no clue.
Oh God, that's incredible. So you decided that you're seeing this, but would you say it's a serious problem,
Very serious.
really?
It's a very serious problem, and it provoking climate change and people not believing in climate change shows how serious the problem is.
Right. In what way does this rubbish in the sea then contribute to climate change? Can you say something about that?
Yeah, well, we all know that everything that ends up in the ocean, it sort of changes into particles, so it gets very, very tiny.
Right.
And that fish is eating that obviously because they can't distinguish it from normal food or from normal particles. Them eating that, then other fish is eating that, other fish eating that. At the end of the day, fishes will start disappearing and will start, not having anything left and dying, basically going extinct.
Yeah.
And we need every little fish that we have is it's mandatory for the cycle for the ocean. Every fish has its own purpose, and
Right.
every animal has its own purpose.
Right.
So if one little thing disappears, the whole balance is gone.
Right. Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing, but it's so complicated as well. But and I'm sure that there's still research going on, but the whole balance, we are completely disturbing it.
Yeah, and I think we've all seen quite disturbing images of fish or turtles or dolphins with these, for example, these plastic things that we get our six pack of tonics or beer in, and having those wrapped around them, and plastic straws, and God knows what else, bits of fishing nets and things, and it's very disturbing, isn't it?
It is, and especially as a diver, I remember when I went diving in Marina del Este, which is near Nerja, and I was doing a fun dive with a friend of mine, and we found two fish on hooks nearly dying, and we had to take out the hook and save them, and it was just it's such a sad image, and it's so sad to have to save animals, and it's very sad.
Yeah, yeah. So, you decided it was time to, rather than just sort of see this rubbish on the seabed and think, oh God, that's terrible. It was time to do something about it. Okay, so how did you go about sort of
Yeah,
that process?
well, we had the idea, of course, and now it was time to put it into action. So in 2019, in March, we announced our very first cleanup, and of course, it was way smaller than what it is now, but it was already amazing to see people turn up and
Yeah,
actually help us with this.
yeah,
So we started by going to the town halls, asking them for permissions to do this and for them to collaborate with us, and they all agreed to it immediately. It's very nice to have that collaboration with the town halls.
yeah.
And then we made our we did a cleanup. We made our association. We made it official in the Junta de Andalucía, and we've been doing cleanups ever
Yeah.
since.
And for people who don't know the South Coast, we are littered right along the coast with different council areas, aren't we?
Yeah.
Going from Malaga and into Torremolinos, Benalmádena, Fuengirola, Mijas, Marbella, Estepona, and all of these, and that's just in one short stretch of the coast. All of these have different councils, and you have to sort of negotiate with everyone individually, don't you?
Yep. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. But your cleanups haven't just been on the seabed. I mean, you've organised sort of beach cleans and seabed cleans all at the same time, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. So we have volunteers on the beach, and at the same time, we have volunteer divers cleaning that same part.
Yeah. And has there been a lot of interest? I know I've seen the people, who've been doing the beach cleans with you. A lot of interest from divers saying, yeah, 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 I'm up for this.
Yes, yes, quite a lot. People, I mean, of course, when you go diving, you see the actual effects and consequences of the plastic and of the rubbish. So seeing that will, of course, make you want to clean up and do something. So it's been great to have an average of 10, 12 divers per cleanup and actually have them clean up. It's amazing.
Right. Nikki, we're going to take a short break for sponsors and an ad break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about Mi Moana, and you're going to tell us after the break where you came up with this term from.
Okay.
You're listening to Expat Radio, beaming out across France and around the world.
Welcome back. I'm Bill Anderson. I'm coming live from the Costa del Sol with my guest today, Nikki from Mi Moana. We've been talking about her experiences in scuba diving and setting up this group, Mi Moana, to help with clearing some of the rubbish that we leave behind from the seabed. Welcome back, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I think it's about time we expanded people's knowledge of the Hawaiian language. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Mi Moana.
Um,
What does it mean?
yes. So, Mi Moana means my ocean, quite
My
literally.
ocean. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yeah. Do you get asked that question a lot?
Yes. Now, in every social media we've put, Mi Moana means my ocean.
Yeah, yeah,
We've put it in every single place now because, yeah, we do get the question quite a lot.
yeah, yeah. So, my ocean, and you've been cleaning it up. Well, you've told us that there's some crazy things that you found on the seabed: bicycles, fridges.
Yep.
Did you manage to sort of recycle the bicycle and sell it on or something?
Unfortunately, no, not that. No.
Yeah, Dave said his Hawaiian is very good. He knows Magnum.
The only Hawaiian you need.
It's the only Hawaiian he needs. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
So okay, but these are kind of exceptional things. I mean, well, first thing, how do you manage to haul a fridge off the seabed onto the beach? That must be quite a task, really.
It is a task, but luckily we have very strong divers and divers
Right,
that won't stop until they get it,
right,
and volunteers on the beach that are more than happy to help them. So
right.
it's been always very nice,
Yeah.
everyone helping each other.
So I guess from what you were saying, an awful lot of what you're finding though is plastics.
Yeah, a lot of plastic bags, plastic bottles, anything plastic, but mainly fishing nets.
All
We
right,
find
okay.
just a crazy amount of fishing nets. Um, we find cans, a lot of cans, and just a lot of big pieces of plastic that, of course, we don't know where it comes from, but it's been separated from their actual objects or thing that it was
Right.
before, and that we don't know what it is. But it's, yeah, a lot of plastic, fishing nets, and cans.
And in these post-COVID days, a lot of old masks floating under there.
Oh, so many masks
Yeah,
and gloves. Oh, so many
plastic
gloves.
gloves, yeah, or rubber gloves, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I was just thinking what you were saying there about how the stuff ends up there, and you know, things are maybe changing a little bit with fewer people wearing masks now that the mandates have been lifted here in Spain. But every time Vicky and I were out on the streets, we'd see masks lying on the streets.
Yeah,
And we do get quite a lot of wind here in the winter, so I did wonder if a lot of those ended up in the sea.
yeah. Well, I did. Funny enough, yeah.
Yeah,
No, there's a lot of them. There's a lot, basically everything that we can use in our day-to-day lives and everything that, if we look around us, that we see, that can end up in the ocean in no time.
yeah, yeah. And is this amount of rubbish actually affecting the flora fauna on the seabed in this area, Nikki, do you think?
Oh yes, of course it has. It has major effects. I mean, it's impossible for animals for not to live there if it's this contaminated, this polluted. It's
Right.
impossible. So if we go somewhere where it's protected, like an hour and a half away from here, Nerja, where it's completely protected, no one can contaminate there, no one can pollute there, the amount of life is just shocking, because everything has to go there because there's just no other place for them to live. It's impossible for them. It's the plastic is everywhere.
Right, right. So you're collecting all this plastic, and I suppose initially it was just going into big bags and going into recycle bins, yeah?
Exactly. So our collaboration with the town hall also consists of them putting big containers, and then
Right.
we can put our bags there of everything classified. We put it in there, and then they take it to their correct point.
Yeah, so I guess it has to be all sorted out once it's brought up onto the beach. That sounds like a bit of an icky job, to be honest.
It is, but after an hour and a half, we yeah, some of us we separate everything, put everything in separate big bags. I mean, we have to. It's if
Yeah.
not, then there's no use for us to clean the beach. I mean,
No, no. If it's all going to go into landfill at some point later, then it's just shifting the problem from one place to another, isn't it?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So you came up with an idea. Or was it you? Was
Exactly.
it your mum? Or who came up with the idea of
Well, I'd like to
doing
take credit for the
something with it?
idea.
So you,
I'd like to say credit. I'd like to say credit for the idea.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
um, but I mean, I'll say mum and I. Mum
Uh,
and I came up with the idea
right,
to give plastic a second life,
right.
and of course we didn't know how. Um, and then we started brainstorming and thinking, and I think we found a very nice way.
Tell us about it.
So what we do now, from home, handmade, is we make accessories, jewelry, with the plastic that we find.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound very nice, but I've actually seen these things, and the idea, oh, it's made from old plastic, doesn't actually do credit to what you and your mum actually do. So tell us a little bit about what kinds of things you make and how you go about doing it.
So we make types of earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings. And what we do is we take the plastic, for instance, a bottle cap, we cut it by hand, and then we into very tiny pieces, and then we put it into plant-based resin. And after 24 hours, more or less, we can put it into stainless steel, and we make our jewelry.
Yeah, yeah. And it is very attractive. And
Thank you.
but when you're looking at it, it certainly doesn't look like, oh, it's made from an old bottle top. It's got a kind of life of its own, hasn't it?
Exactly, and especially in the colors that we do it. So we do it in pink, in aqua, in blue. We do it in black. We do it. So we do all the different colors, and from far away you don't even see that it's plastic. You don't see it at all.
No, you don't. You don't. And how's that going for you?
And it's been okay. We do it, of course, mainly for to give a second life and to recycle, which is one of the main three R's.
Yeah,
But it's also very good for us because we don't get any economical help. And by selling these, we can actually sort of finance our cleanups and more of these products. So it's been a sort of a win-win situation for the earth and for us.
yeah, sure. Yeah, because as you say, councils have been very willing to support you doing this. As in, yes, you can do it,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that doesn't usually come along with a check, does it?
No, unfortunately not. They're more than happy to help us in like with TV and with media, with communication.
Yeah,
But economically, no, we're not getting any help. We do luckily have a sponsor. We've just had a new sponsor since
right.
yesterday. Um, so we do have companies that want to help us, but from the town hall and from those, no, we're not getting any help at the moment.
Yeah, and uh, Sorry, I was just slightly distracted there. Um, if people want to sort of look at what you're doing, how would they find out what you're doing, Nikki?
So we are on every social media. We've got a website that's www.mimoana.org. On Facebook, we are Mi Moana. Instagram, it's Mi Moana. I mean, it's very easy to find us.
Yeah.
Even just on the internet by looking it up, you'll find everything. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Pinterest. Every
Okay.
single social media you can name, we're on it.
Right. So if just so that people know, Mi Moana is spelt pretty much as it sounds, M-I, me, Moana, Moana. So they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, and you have your website, which is mimoana.org.
Yeah.
Uh, and well, they can find out what you're doing. Can they buy things over your website for your jewelry, for example?
Yeah, so everything that we have, we sell it online. And then we give a little bit explanation of where we found it, how it's made, a little bit of the details about it. So it's very well explained, and I hope people like it when they see it.
Yeah, it's very nice, but I have to say, on your website, you have to do this. There's a lovely big fish there, but it's surrounded by an awful lot of crap, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What do you how do you see this going forward, Nikki?
Um, well, as you probably know, every NGO here that has been existing for 2 years can ask for a little bit of economical help. So soon enough, we'll be able to request that, which is very nice, which can really help us to continue.
Right,
Of course, thanks to our sponsors, all of them being Specsavers in
right.
Frankfurt, and this new project that we started yesterday, which I'm very excited about, is a NFT project.
What's
I don't know
that?
if you've heard of NFTs.
No.
So NFTs is sort of a new thing now, which is basically an image, and you can buy the rights of it,
Okay.
basically. And there's this a little NFT project in Madrid that are selling these and donating 100% to us, which is amazing.
Okay. So
Yeah, they're called. Yeah.
these images, where do they come from? Are we talking about photographs or?
So the project itself is called Floating Heads, and if you look at the website, you understand why it's called Floating Heads, because it's just a little sort of animated little face, little head popping
Right.
around,
Okay.
and people can buy the rights to that, and the 100% of the income goes to us.
Right. Okay. Right.
That's amazing.
That's I haven't come across this, but
No, no, it's still very new. NFTs are they have been existing, I think, since like beginning of this year. So it's still very new, but people are buying it a lot. So you can buy, for instance, the first ever Twitter message. You can buy the rights to that,
all right.
or you can buy the rights to a bag or a guitar or whatever. You can buy the rights to it and the
Right.
little image, and you just own that image.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting way forward. Could you give us an idea, Nikki, about how much it costs? Well, it costs you to set up one of these beach cleans. Just so that we have a figure in our head, roughly.
Yeah, well, of course, we would count gasoline to get there, and then it's all the jewelry that we make. It's I don't really know how to put it into an amount, but I mean, it could be in the hundreds. Let's say 100
Yeah, and
for one cleanup.
and you've got to have your scuba tanks full. I guess you have some kind of compressor that you do that with, but that still costs money to run, doesn't it? Especially nowadays.
A lot. So Nick has a compressor room in his dive center. So he kindly enough brings all the tanks and the equipment, and then he asks from every diver 20 euros.
Right,
And then it's 10 for us, 10 for him, and that way you can, get it a little bit back, the money, just a little bit.
right. Sure, sure. Have you ever thought of franchising this?
Yes, well, yes, we would love to have this in different places. I mean, at the moment, of course, we're very limited to this coast because we don't have a car yet for Mi Moana, and we need a little bit of like a van
Yeah,
to put everything in, and we are still trying to get some money for that because it's very, very urgent.
yeah,
And once we have that, we can go to different places. But we would love to have groups in different places, even different countries. We would. I mean,
sure.
it's like our dream, but it's
Yeah,
not here at the moment.
no, but I'm sure that the Costa del Sol is not the worst of places for pollution. I'm sure there are other areas that need this kind of thing to be done, very urgently. So
Yeah, and we're so happy that other organizations are doing this as well. Of course, for instance, for oceans, they are in many different countries, many different places, and they're doing the same thing. So it's already being done, and we're so happy to say that there's an improvement and that people are trying to clean the world a little bit, but there's
sure,
still so much to be done.
yeah. So, vehicles are complicated things, aren't they? In that, it's not that hard to raise the money to buy it.
Well,
Then it's all the ongoing running costs of it, the petrol, the insurance, So once you have your vehicle, you're kind of committed to continually raising money to actually maintain it and to keep it on the road, aren't you?
yeah, exactly. And it's not only that, there's other different projects that we would really like to start doing now. For instance, we're going to start with a free of plastic certificate for establishments along the beach.
Right.
So if they get rid of most single-use plastic that they have there, then they can obtain a certificate. And we would like to go to them every once in a while and see how they're doing, which of course we need money for. We would like to translate our education project, which is only in Spanish at the moment.
Okay.
So I don't know if I've spoken about it already, but we've made an education project for kids between 8 and 13,
Okay.
which includes 7 videos, 1 video per week. And during those videos, they are challenged to come up with an idea to reduce plastic at home or at school. And the 3 best ideas get a little prize.
Yeah, and I think this is a biggie because people are still in some places using plastic straws, and
Yeah.
honestly, if I go down to a beach bar and order a gin and tonic, I actually learned a while back how to drink out of a glass. So I don't I
Well,
don't know for the life of me why they stick a straw in it.
I
It's
know.
it's like this is
I
totally
know.
unnecessary.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, and we have some friends as well who are based not very far from here who have started a new business actually with spring water from Ireland. Now that's
Wow.
one thing, but the containers, it looks kind of like paper. It looks like paper and plastic, but it's something like 90% or 95% recyclable, and most of it is actually made from vegetables. So it,
Wow.
it is it is a really great. I'd love to see this taking off, and
Yeah.
they can put logos on it if businesses want to buy it and put and that's their it's a business, but it's their contribution as well to
Yeah.
helping to reduce the amount of plastics that we have and the amount of rubbish
Yeah.
that we produce from that, and it's vegetable based mainly and
Yeah.
completely biodegradable.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I need to put you in touch with them because you never know. There might be
Definitely.
in my life I know a lot of people, and one of the things I try to do is actually to put people in touch with each other. Um,
Yeah.
because there's sometimes things I can't do, but if I can put 2 or 3 people in touch with each other, they get their heads together and say we could do something with this.
Yeah. That'd be very cool. Yes, please.
Yeah, and I think, anything that we do it is about reducing waste, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, do you have plans for anything? I know you don't have a beach. Well, I don't think you have a beach cleanup this weekend, do you?
No, not this cleanup, but not this weekend, but next weekend, the 30th, we have a cleanup with very nice with obviously a collaboration of the dive center
Right.
and also with a top sup shop in Fuengirola. So they have like surf planks and sub planks,
Right.
and they're gonna be bringing them so people can use them, which is awesome. So that's gonna be quite nice.
Fantastic. And where's that going to be?
It's going to be in Fuengirola, in Playa de Torreblanca and the Espijón de Torreblanca. So we're going to clean the pier and the little river that is right behind it. It's
Right.
going to be a very nice cleanup.
That's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let's hope you don't have any fridges to haul out of it. And
hopefully not this time.
have you got a lot of people signed up to help you with that, Nikki?
Yeah, quite a lot. Well, we don't always ask for sign up, so we just sort of tell people, show up. But for now, we already have quite a nice little group, so I hope it's going to be nice.
That sounds excellent. And I really hope it goes well. Listen,
Thanks.
Nikki, our time is gradually sort of running away from us. Is there anything else, any kind of message you would like to put out there?
I'd like to motivate everyone to come to one of our cleanups. Images are so much more valuable than words, and if they really see what plastic and rubbish there's on the beach, then I think that they will really change their mindset and start to help. So I'd love everyone to come and help us in the way they can, and I just hope for everyone to fight together against pollution.
Wonderful. And I think it's important to say that if you're looking at the weight of this stuff that you're taking out, it's not very heavy, but it's volume, isn't it?
Yes, yes, we've collected in 3 years about 6,000 kilos, and it's quite a lot,
That
to be
that that
honest.
that's a lot of weight, and that's also a huge volume of rubbish that's been pulled out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Nikki, it has been absolutely delightful talking to you today, and to give you the opportunity to tell us what you're doing, because I think, I'm not being condescending here, but you're a young woman, well, you came here at 5 and you've been here 14 years. Those of us who can do our maths can kind of work that one out.
Yeah.
And we're very dismissive sometimes of our younger generations, like they just want everything done for them and whatever. But actually, that doesn't apply to you. Maybe your mum would disagree, I don't know. But it doesn't
No, well,
it
don't ask her.
it doesn't apply to you because you've actually seen something and said, I want to do something about this. And not only just talked about it, you've actually done it. And I think you deserve very much our congratulations for that. And let's hope that you go from strength to strength. Expat Radio is going to put a link to your website homepage,
Cool. Thank you.
on their homepage to yours, and let's hope that's going to also generate some interest for you. We'll put this together into a nice little podcast, and I'm going to put some of your lovely jewelry and things that you've made from your website on there so people can see it.
Perfect.
Fantastic initiative, Nikki. And we just hope you go from strength to strength in whatever direction it takes you. And if anybody out there wants to sponsor you, they can get in touch with you via your website, mimoana.org. And I'm sure you would be very happy to accept any kind of sponsorship for this, yeah?
Yes, yes. Thank you so, so much, Bill.
Nikki, an absolute pleasure.
Same here.
And have a great weekend.
You too.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening in today. I've really enjoyed chatting to Nikki. We've talked before, sort of locally. It's been great. I hope you have better weather your weekend than we're looking at the moment. Have a great weekend. Take care, everyone, and we'll be back next week.